Good morning, bird braves, and welcome to the first impressions video for the Fox Performance RC1s. Now I will tell you, I have had these shocks on the bike for about 200, maybe 300 miles at this point. So I do have a little bit of riding experience with them, but nothing on a road like we're going to be riding today. So my first impression when I first started riding these shocks was that you definitely feel a difference. I mean, that's pretty much guaranteed when you drop $1,200 on a suspension setup. Also, you're raising the rear about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. But I didn't expect to feel such a drastic change. It's just overall good. I mean, that's the best way I can wrap it up in few words. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Fox Performance RC1s, it does come with 24 levels of compression adjustment, 24 levels of rebound adjustment, and 5 presets on the preload adjustment. Now, of course, you can set those in between and really kind of got unlimited adjustment on that. But 5 levels is what it recommends. I have to say, on the highway, I pretty much have been running them right in the middle of all adjustments, aside from the preload. The preload, I have it cranked up pretty high. I am a bigger dude. I'm about 270, so they recommend around level 5. And that's what I've been running on the highway. Everything else has been set on level 12 or level 13, just so I can kind of get a kind of like a base reading on how they respond. And so far on the mid settings, they're pretty comfortable on the highway. I will say the rebound is a little excessive. What I mean by that is when you hit a bump, you kind of sit there and do the bounce up and down thing. But riding on like city streets and stuff like that, you definitely feel the bumps, but it's definitely minimized over stock. Now I will say, just the couple miles I've had here on this road, I can tell that it is an amazing jump over stock. My lean angle has increased substantially. I'm nowhere near dragging peg, I don't think. And that was kind of my issue beforehand, is I was dragging peg, I was dragging exhaust. Now with 1.5 inches of lift in the rear, I'm gonna have to be getting really down and into it to be scraping anything. One thing that I was worried about when I bought these is this going to be worth the $1,200? And I'm sure that's probably what you're asking yourself too if you're doing any sort of research or anything on the internet. And that is absolutely 100% yes. If you do any sort of riding outside of your boring Sunday cruises, so if you ever hit twisties, if you like throwing your Harley into corners, or do even long highway rides, like you like those long treks, I would highly suggest picking up a pair of these. Now, if you're not doing this very often, or you don't plan on doing any sort of aggressive riding or twisty riding, then $1,200 might be a little bit out of your range. But the way I see it is, if you see yourself ever needing that, just go ahead and bite the bullet and spend the money. It's so much better than buying, say for example, a $600 pair of shocks and then using those for a year, maybe get $400 out of them, and then reselling those $400 and then spend another, $1,000 on top of that at that point to get something that you actually want or actually need at that point. Also, I'm gonna pull over here real quick just so you can get a look at these beauties. It's another big pro on my list is the look of them. So I'm gonna have to ask you to please excuse my horrible exhaust setup I have here, but I do want to point this out. So if you're running any sort of like 2-into-2 exhaust, something like that, this might get in the way. Reason being, your swing arm's now going to be lower. You might have to do some modifications to your exhaust, or find something else to do with it. I have a 2-into-1 system coming up, and it should end right about here, so it should be good on that. But yeah, the look of these is just amazing. You've got your flat black with your gloss black kind of contrast, and it's got a tool that you can adjust the preload on right here, and then to adjust your compression rebound, it's as simple as turning that dial. So you've got on-the-fly adjustment for both of them. Just a very good overall system. So there you have it, guys. That is my first impressions review of the Fox Performance RC1s. I will be doing a much more in-depth video once I get these things dialed in and have a dozen or so runs on this road that we're on right here. But after 200 miles or so, I definitely do not regret these one bit. So guys, if you like this video, if it helped you out in any sort of form or fashion, please go ahead and hit that like button. It does do a ton for the channel. If you haven't already, I suggest you hit that subscribe button. I do put out 3 videos a week every single week, both first impression and long-term reviews of a bunch of different Harley products. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.